They thought I'd walk away humiliated, but I walked away with proof, the kind that ruins reputations. You won't believe what I showed on that giant graduation screen, so don't blink now. What happened next? My name is Vanessa. I'm 24 years old, and this is how I turned their betrayal into my blueprint for power. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening from in the comments. The stadium smelled of freshly cut grass mixed with the warm, synthetic scent of plastic folding chairs baking under the sun. Every breath carried a faint taste of pollen and sunscreen. The sky was cloudless, blue, polished, merciless. Gowns fluttered when the wind pushed through the aisles. Rows of black caps shimmered like oil in the heat. The loudspeakers crackled, announcing names in a rhythm that felt endless, mechanical, almost hypnotic. Applause rolled and faded like waves, then rolled again for the next graduate. I sat in the fourth row, middle seat. My tassel stuck to my lip gloss every time I breathed. The skin under my gown clung to my dress. My heels sank slightly into the turf. I looked up at the stage, blinking against the glare. From this distance, the banners above the podium looked like they were trembling in the sunlight. Every flash of a camera felt like a spark on my skin. It should have been the proudest day of my life. It almost was. Then my phone buzzed. Just once. The vibration hummed against my palm like a heartbeat out of sync. I thought it was another congrats text from family, then another buzz, and another. I lifted the phone slightly, shielding the screen from the sun. Tag notification, then two more. The preview showed my name, a photo. I tapped it before I could stop myself. My breath hitched. It was me, or it looked like me. Cap, gown, same curls spilling over my shoulders, same smile, but the rest wasn't real. Someone had unzipped the gown halfway, exposing skin that wasn't mine, a lace bra, bare legs crossed at the knees. A wine bottle had been photoshopped into my hand. The caption said, "Guess who pre-gamed graduation a little too hard." The laughter began before I could even process it. At first, a ripple, then a wave, a cough that turned into a giggle behind me, a guy 2 rows up twisting around to get a better look. Another whisper, "Is that her?" The air grew heavier. My stomach clenched as if someone had poured ice water through me. I could feel every stare hitting my back like pellets. I didn't look up. I didn't have to. 2 seats away, my best friend Maddie kept her eyes on the stage, perfectly still. Her lips curved, barely, but enough. Her phone was face down in her lap. I recognized that silence, that deliberate calm. I'd seen it when she lied before. I knew it was her. For one thin, sharp second, I thought I might cry, but the tear never came. Something colder rose instead, a strange stillness, like the pause before a storm. I slipped the phone into the hidden pocket sewn inside my sleeve, straightened my posture, and breathed once, deep and quiet. The heat, the noise, the humiliation, all of it receded until only one thought remained. You planned this. You wanted everyone to see me break. I wasn't going to give her that. Ahead of me, the stage marshal, Ms. Kittle, was standing near the screen setup, clipboard tucked under her arm. The same screen that would, in a few minutes, display the slideshow of each graduate, their name, degree, and a few personal photos. We had been told the files were final, locked days ago, no exceptions. But I had a USB in my bag, a small black drive with a red stripe, one I'd prepared weeks earlier for a media forensics class project. Inside it were folders labeled meticulously, timestamps, metadata, and a few carefully recorded proofs. At the time, it was just practice. Now, it was something else. I stood. My knees didn't tremble. The movement was slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial. My boots pressed a soft print into the turf with each step. The murmurs grew quieter, the kind of hush that spreads when people sense something off script. I leaned toward Ms. Kittle. "Excuse me," I said, keeping my voice even. "I actually need to make a last-minute change to my slideshow." Her brow wrinkled. "The list's already—" "It's a safety issue," I said, lowering my tone so only she could hear. "A photo was submitted on my behalf that I didn't approve." That word, safety, made her freeze. She looked at me for one long beat, then nodded. "Give me the drive, quickly." I handed it over. No shaking. No hesitation. She plugged it into the laptop near the projector stand. The fan inside whirred faintly. I told her the folder name. She opened it. Her eyes flicked over the thumbnails, but she didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. I walked back to my seat. My heartbeat had found a strange rhythm, steady, patient. Names continued. Applause followed each one like punctuation. I heard my last name echo somewhere in the distance as if through water. Vanessa Riley, Bachelor of Communications. I rose. The heat pressed down harder now. I lifted my chin and walked toward the stage. The turf flexed under my heels. Somewhere behind me, a voice whispered, "That's her." I smiled. The crowd clapped politely. Cameras clicked. Then the screen flickered to life behind me. The first image appeared. Split screen. Left side. The fake photo. The one Maddie posted. Right side. The original, untouched picture from my iCloud, time-stamped and geotagged. The sunlight hit the screen, making it glow like proof carved into glass. A murmur swept through the audience. Next slide, the metadata panel. Editing software, timestamp, location. Next, the IP address, matching the dorm's Wi-Fi assigned to Maddie's room. Next, a brief screen recording of an Instagram draft folder. Her username. Her drafts. The fake image queued for posting. Then the final slide. Black background. White letters. This was not a mistake. This was sabotage. The world went silent. For 5 long seconds, even the wind stopped moving. Then came the gasps. Chairs scraped against concrete. Someone dropped their phone. In the corner of my vision, Maddie shot up from her seat, her face drained of color until her freckles looked like ink stains. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her hands hovered near her phone like she was trying to make it disappear. A girl behind her lifted her own phone and took a picture. A whisper rippled down the row. "Oh my God, it was her?" Ms. Kittle stepped into the aisle and approached slowly, her heels tapping a steady beat. Maddie stepped back once, twice, then sank into her seat as if her knees had forgotten how to hold her. I reached the dean. He handed me the diploma, his smile fixed but uncertain. The crowd clapped again, louder this time, a confused mix of shock and admiration. Cameras flashed, capturing both the scandal and the moment of reclaiming. I turned to face them all. The noise swelled. For a heartbeat, the entire stadium was mine. I smiled for the photo. The shutter clicked. The light flashed across my eyes like lightning through glass. Then I walked. Past the stage, past the murmuring rows. Every step felt lighter, like shedding something invisible. Maddie sat frozen, her mascara bleeding faintly at the corners. Her lips trembled, but no words came. I paused beside her row. The air around her smelled faintly of coconut hairspray and panic. I leaned close, my voice barely a whisper. "Next time you want to fake a story," I said, "don't forget I major in media forensics." She stared straight ahead. Her eyes glistened. The color had left her face completely. I straightened, brushed invisible dust from my gown, and kept walking. The applause behind me rose again. Different now. Not polite, not forced, something rawer. It followed me to the tunnel exit. Outside, the air shifted. Cooler, quieter, the echo of celebration dulled by the concrete walls. I walked until the sound became a memory. The phone buzzed again. Messages flooded in. Screenshots, disbelief, apologies from people who hadn't even spoken to me in months. I ignored them all. I stood in the shadow of the stadium arch, sunlight slicing across the pavement, and exhaled for the first time since the post went live. They thought they'd humiliated me, but what they didn't understand was that humiliation can be rewritten. It can be turned into evidence, into strategy, into control. That day, I didn't just graduate, I evolved. And as I walked toward the parking lot, diploma in hand, I realized something else. Revenge doesn't always need noise. Sometimes it just needs proof and timing. I unlocked my car, slid the USB into the glove compartment, and watched the reflection of the stadium shimmer in my rear view mirror. For a long moment, I stared at it. The place where they laughed, the place where I ended it. Then I smiled, started the engine, and drove away. I didn't look back when I left the stadium aisle. The applause dimmed behind me until it became nothing but distant thunder, swallowed by the steady thud of my heartbeat. Each step pushed me farther from the echo of my own name. The heavy Michigan air met me like a wall, warm, damp, alive with the noise of celebration. A breeze carried the scent of buttered popcorn from the concession stand and the faint sweetness of grass crushed under hundreds of heels. I drew in a long breath that tasted of salt and sunlight. My gown brushed softly against my legs as I moved through the exit tunnel, steady, composed, as if the fire I'd just set inside wasn't still spreading through a crowd of stunned witnesses. The moment the sunlight hit me, my body understood freedom before my mind did. The world outside the stadium shimmered, cars lined up like glittering shells, parents shouting names, balloons drifting into the pale afternoon sky. Children ran between bumpers, waving programs like flags. I walked straight through it, my shadow long and unbroken, my pulse still pounding from what I'd just done. People moved aside when they saw me, not dramatically, just small, instinctive shifts of space, like the air itself adjusted to make room. Some stared, some whispered into their phones, others looked at me the way people look at someone leaving a courtroom after a verdict, curious, cautious, newly respectful. My phone buzzed again, then a third time in quick succession. I didn't open any of it. I didn't need to. I knew exactly what those notifications were. Screenshots, reactions, reposts, maybe even a few shaky videos of the screen behind me lighting up with proof. The truth had already escaped. There was no containing it now. I stopped at the edge of the field where the green gave way to cracked asphalt. The heat rose off the pavement in shimmering waves, bending the air. The tassel on my cap brushed my cheek, ticklish, grounding. I tilted my face toward the sun and let my eyes close for a heartbeat. One breath, then another. When I opened my phone, the lock screen exploded with numbers. 227 unread messages. A few were from classmates whose names I barely remembered. A cluster of missed calls from Maddie, and one message from my mom. Mom, honey, call me when you can. We saw a clip online. Are you all right? The words blurred for a second before refocusing. My throat tightened. Not from pain, but from the weight of it all landing at once. I typed back with fingers that didn't tremble. Me. I'm okay. I'll call you in a bit. Then I locked the screen and slipped the phone back into my pocket. The wind changed, brushing across my face. A shadow moved beside me, tall, hesitant. I turned slightly. Ryan was walking over, his cap tucked under, his arm, his tassel tangled in his fingers. His cheeks were flushed pink, whether from the heat or adrenaline I couldn't tell. He stopped a few feet away, shifting on his heels. Vanessa. That was... I raised my hand gently. You don't have to say anything. He shook his head, almost laughing, disbelief softening his features. It wasn't just brave, it was honest. Most people would have run out crying. You walked up there like you were presenting a thesis. The corners of my mouth lifted. Barely. I wasn't going to let her rewrite my name on our last day. He nodded slowly, eyes steady. If you need a ride home, I'm heading toward the suburbs. I'm passing your exit anyway. Thanks, I said. I'll be okay. I just need a minute alone. He studied me for another moment, searching for cracks I wasn't offering. If you need anything, he said finally, seriously, anything, text me. I nodded once. He turned and walked away, his robe fluttering behind him, merging back into the noise of families taking photos near their cars. The space he left felt heavier for a second, then peaceful. The world was still turning, ordinary as ever. Somewhere behind me, confetti cannons fired from the stadium, releasing clouds of silver and blue paper that caught in the wind. The cheers rolled out again, muffled by distance. And then, soft, uncertain, another voice reached me. Vanessa, please. We need to talk. I turned. Maddie stood there at the edge of the walkway. Her gown was wrinkled, her cap missing, the bobby pins in her hair half pulled loose. The mascara she always bragged about, waterproof, 24-hour hold, had smeared into gray shadows beneath her eyes. Her face was pale, eyes rimmed red. She looked like someone waiting for a sentence they already knew was coming. I didn't move toward her. I let her come closer, step by step, until the distance between us was small enough to feel the tremor in her voice. I didn't think it would get that far, she said. My voice stayed even. You posted a deepfake photo of me at graduation. Where exactly did you think far would stop? She flinched, her hands twisted together in front of her, knuckles white. I was stupid. I was jealous. You got the internship at the media firm, and I... So, you tried to ruin my reputation. That's your explanation? Her eyes darted around, checking, calculating. A few students were nearby, pretending not to watch. The parking lot had turned into a gallery of silent witnesses. Can you take the slides down? She whispered. Please? My parents. They're already calling the dean. I didn't post them, I said. The school did. It's part of the official recording now. Her eyes widened. Vanessa, I'm sorry. You have to believe me. The IP address didn't apologize, I said quietly. Neither did the metadata. She winced, like the words themselves hit her. A gust of wind swept between us, lifting the tassels of the nearby graduates, scattering confetti across the asphalt. For a moment, everything went still. Just the two of us, two girls who used to share everything from textbooks to nail polish, who once lay on my roof counting constellations, promising we'd never let college change us. And yet, here we were. She took a small step forward. Her hand rose, fingers trembling, almost touching my arm. Don't, I said. Her hand froze midair, then dropped. Silence stretched thin between us until it felt like glass. Finally, she exhaled, shaky. I never thought you'd fight back. That's the problem, I said. You thought I wouldn't. Her eyes glistened. I don't know how you figured it all out. You used your campus Wi-Fi, I said. You posted it from your dorm. You saved the fake file in your drafts. You left fingerprints everywhere. Her mouth trembled open, then closed again. Please, she whispered. I can't face my parents. Or my scholarship committee. My future should have mattered before you tried to destroy mine. She let out a sound halfway between a sob and a gasp. Her shoulders shook. After a long moment, she sank down onto the stone border lining the walkway. Her elbows rested on her knees, face buried in her hands. The pose was almost childlike, fragile, smaller than the person I used to know. I watched her for a long minute. The sun painted her gown in streaks of gold. Somewhere nearby, a camera clicked. The noise of families faded again. Empathy flickered, faint but powerless. Because empathy doesn't erase betrayal, and betrayal doesn't earn forgiveness. When she spoke again, her voice was cracked. What happens now? That's up to the school, I said. And the committee reviewing the harassment report. Her head snapped up. Her eyes were wide, disbelief breaking through the haze. You filed one? This morning, I said, before the ceremony. The color drained from her cheeks. She blinked rapidly, as if trying to wake from a dream. I didn't know what you were planning, I continued. But I knew you weren't done. Vanessa, please, she whispered. Please don't let them expel me. I'm not in charge of the consequences, I said softly. I'm just done shielding you from them. Her lips parted, searching for a defense that no longer existed. Then she closed them again, the silence saying more than words could. Understanding spread slowly across her face, the kind that doesn't come from hearing, but from feeling the world collapse around you. She dragged a sleeve across her eyes, smearing mascara further. We were supposed to room together next month. We were supposed to be friends today, I said. Her face crumpled, the kind of quiet breakdown that happens when there's no one left to perform for. From inside the stadium, the speakers blared the final name. The crowd erupted. Cheers rolled out, followed by the sharp pop of confetti cannons, the soundtrack of endings disguised as beginnings. I turned toward the parking lot. The sunlight reflected off car windshields like tiny flashes of memory. I have to go, I said. She didn't move, didn't follow. Her voice drifted after me, small and broken. I didn't think you'd win. I stopped for half a heartbeat. That's because you never thought I could. Then I kept walking. The tassel brushed against my cheek again, the sun warming the back of my neck, and behind me, the sound of a world quietly collapsing into the mess it made for itself. I reached my car at the far end of the parking lot, the same spot I'd chosen before sunrise when the air still nipped at my fingertips and the horizon was painted silver blue. Back then, I'd sat behind the wheel with a paper cup of gas station coffee, steam fogging the windshield, rehearsing the short speech I thought I'd give on stage. I'd practiced how to thank my professors, how to thank my parents, how to sound like I had everything figured out. I never imagined that by the end of the ceremony I wouldn't need words at all. The truth had spoken louder than any speech ever could. The key fob clicked. My car chirped once, then twice. I opened the door and tossed my gown across the passenger seat. The fabric still held the scent of warm polyester and cut grass. Sunlight poured through the windshield, coating everything in gold. I sank into the driver's seat, leaned back, and let my hands rest on the steering wheel until the pulse in my wrists slowed. The laughter, the gasps, the hush that fell over thousands of people, the look on Maddie's face. They replayed behind my eyes, not as pain, but as evidence. Proof that I'd survived the kind of public humiliation most people only imagine in nightmares. Only now, it wasn't a nightmare. It was memory, already soft around the edges. My phone buzzed again. The sound cut through the hum of the idling cars nearby. I finally unlocked the screen. The first message came from Ryan. Hey, just checking on you. If you want to talk later, I'm around. Then one from my mom. Your dad is proud. Call us when you're home. After that, dozens of classmates. Holy crap, that was legendary. You handled that like a pro. You exposed her better than our digital forensics professor ever could. Are you okay? You deserved better than that. The words blurred together into a wave of validation, one I hadn't asked for but needed all the same. Then came a number I didn't recognize. The tone was different even before I opened it. formal punctuation, long sentences that trembled on the screen. Maddie's mom. Vanessa, sweetheart, can we please talk? I know you're hurt, but please. I stared at the text for a long moment. The woman used to send me Christmas cookies in college care packages. She'd written my name on sticky notes on her fridge. Now her message felt like smoke from a house still burning. I locked the phone and placed it face down on the console. The truth was already doing what it needed to. I didn't have to. I turned the key. The engine coughed once, then settled into a low purr. I pulled out of the lot and onto the road, past the last wave of graduates taking selfies beside minivans decked in balloons. The afternoon light stretched across the highway, the kind of light that makes everything look like it's starting over. The drive home felt longer than usual. I passed strip malls, kids weaving bicycles through puddles, a man selling strawberries from a pickup bed, a family hauling groceries across the Walmart parking lot. Everywhere I looked, people were celebrating beginnings. My day had been an ending disguised as one. When I turned onto our street, the houses were identical in their comfort. Porches with flags, lawn chairs left out from last weekend's barbecue. My mom stood on ours before I even parked. She must have been watching through the window. Her hair was still pinned from the ceremony live stream. She clutched her phone like it was a lifeline. The moment I stepped out, she opened her arms. "Come here, baby." I folded into her hug. Her sweater smelled of dryer sheets and the lavender soap she'd used my whole life. For a second, I was 8 again, coming home from a spelling bee I hadn't won. She didn't ask questions right away. She just held me until my shoulders stopped rising so fast. When she pulled back, her eyes searched my face. I saw the clip, the screen, the proof. "Are you all right?" "Yeah," I said, surprising myself. "I think I am." She cupped my cheek, thumb tracing the edge of a tear that never fell. "You didn't deserve any of that. I know." Something in my tone made her pause, then nod slowly. "Your father's making burgers. Come inside." The house smelled like home, grilled meat, toasted buns, and the faint citrus cleaner my mom used on everything. My dad stood by the stove, flipping patties with the precision of a man rebuilding an engine. He glanced over his shoulder when he heard me. "Heard you stirred up the whole stadium today," he said. "Something like that." He turned off the burner. "Good. People shouldn't get away with that crap." "Language," Mom said automatically. He grinned. "Fine. Garbage." He slid a burger onto a plate, added a slice of cheese, and handed it to me. "You did the right thing, kiddo." I sat at the kitchen island, the burger warm in my hands, the grease seeping through the bun. The ordinary weight of it grounded me. The kitchen light hummed softly above. For the first time all day, my breathing matched the rhythm of the room. But beneath the comfort, a sharp clarity spread through me, like realizing the noise had finally stopped. I wasn't just safe, I was free. My name was mine again. My story was mine again. Then the doorbell rang. Mom wiped her hands on a towel. "I'll get it." I heard the door creak open. A pause. A breath that didn't sound like hers. Then Maddie's voice, small and raw. "Mrs. Riley, is she home?" Every muscle in my body went still. Of course she came. Of course she couldn't leave it alone. Mom stepped outside, voice firm but calm. "Maddie, this isn't the right time." "Please," Maddie said. "Please, I just need 5 minutes." Her voice cracked, desperate. "I'm begging you." Mom looked back toward me. "Do you want to talk to her?" I set the burger down and walked to the doorway. Maddie stood on the porch, clutching her gown to her chest like it was armor she no longer deserved to wear. Her eyes were swollen, her hair tangled by wind and tears. She looked smaller than I remembered. "Vanessa," she said, voice trembling. "I'm scared. They're talking about disciplinary action. They called it harassment. They said there might be a hearing." "There should be," I answered. Her chin quivered. I know. I deserve it. But I can't lose everything over one mistake. It wasn't one mistake, I said. It was a choice. She blinked hard, her lashes sticking together. Can you please talk to the committee? Tell them you don't want to pursue it? I never asked for punishment, I said quietly. I just asked for truth. But they listened to the victim, she whispered. I felt something twist inside me, old affection, old habit, but it was faint, like a song remembered from another life. And that's the point, Maddie. They listened to the person who was hurt, and today, that was me. Her mouth trembled. I didn't think I could lose you. You lost me long before today, I said. Today just made it official. Silence filled the space between us. My mother's wind chimes rattled above the porch, soft and uneven. Maddie's voice shrank to a whisper. Will you ever forgive me? I let the question hang there, breathing once before I answered. Forgiveness isn't the same as forgetting, I said. And I'm never forgetting what you did. Her face collapsed under the weight of those words. She took one unsteady step back, then another. I'm sorry, she said. The apology came out thin, almost transparent. I didn't respond. Some things don't need echoing. She turned and walked toward the sidewalk. The hem of her gown dragged through dust and picked up streaks of dirt, each step smudging what used to be white. When she reached her car, she looked back once, eyes hollow, then drove away. The street swallowed the sound of her engine. Mom touched my arm. You okay? Yeah, I said. And for the first time, it was true. That night, after the dishes were done and the porch light flicked off, I sat on my childhood bed, the diploma folder resting beside me. The room hadn't changed since high school. Same posters, same string lights, same faint scent of lilac from an old candle on the shelf. But I had. The phone buzzed again, endless ripples of attention from a world that had just watched a small act of justice unfold. I scrolled through clips of the ceremony posted from different angles. Every time the slides flashed on screen, I saw not revenge, but proof that I'd learned the one lesson college never taught directly: how to reclaim power when someone tries to steal your narrative. Maddie's post had been designed to humiliate me. She'd counted on me to stay quiet, to apologize for a lie. Instead, I'd done what every woman in every rumor should be allowed to do: show the truth. I closed the phone and set it beside the diploma. The house was silent except for the distant hum of my dad's old truck cooling in the driveway. Outside, a train horn echoed across the fields. The sound was lonely, but not sad. Just final. I lay back on the bed and watched the light from the street lamp crawl across the ceiling. Somewhere out there, Maddie was facing what came next. And I was done carrying any part of it. For the first time in months, I slept without checking my phone. If this story struck a chord, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments.